I'm looking forward to taking leave on Nova Atar. The museum there is supposed to be quite excellent. Lots of antique and one-of-a-kind machinery.
Commander, are you certain it's not the Kazakhstanian cognac you're looking forward to?
Do they make that there, laddie? I don't know.
Why, Mr. Scott, I'm surprised at you, not knowing the location of a famous distillery.
We invented that brandy, you know.
Right.
Of course you did.
No, really. We did.
How long until we reach Nova Atar, Ensign?
About 23 hours, Captain.
22 hours, 53 minutes, and 17 seconds to be precise.
Spock, there's no need to be precise. We're going on shore leave. Rest, relaxation. No calls from Starfleet.
Want to bet?
Captain, we have a message coming in from Starfleet.
On screen, Lieutenant.
Why do I have the feeling that I'm about to have a bad day?
Hello, Jim. I know you're going on shore leave, but
What is it, Chris?
the USS Regulus has been forced to cancel its survey mission to the Antares Rift. We've decided to redirect the Enterprise to that mission.
The Antares Rift has a rather dangerous reputation.
Nothing the Enterprise can't handle, but be careful. Check your data files for details.
Order acknowledged, Kirk out.
Set course, Mr. Sulu. Walk Factor 6.
I see.
Now, I was saying...
The Antares Rift. It should be a most interesting assignment.
I thought you were a science officer, not a tour guide.
Are you attempting to annoy me, Doctor?
You're not a lot of fun, Spock.
I did not realize that was part of my job requirement, Doctor. Is it part of yours?
At times like this, yes.
How so, Spock?
There have been several attempts to chart it. All expeditions into the Rift vanished without a trace.
But those expeditions were years ago. Our starships are far more capable than they were during the time of those attempts.
Captain, a 10-year-old child is far more capable than a 3-year-old child. But there are many problems that neither child can solve.
When I retire from Starfleet, I'm going to write one heck of an autobiography. That way I can finally get someone to listen to me.
Captain? I have consulted the log entries on the Rift in our computer.
Antares Rift, an area of unstable space near the star Antares, characterized by space-time distortions caused by huge black holes in a parallel universe. There have been numerous disappearances in this area. Cross-reference entry, Antares Maelstrom.
Captain, visual dead ahead.
Fascinating.
This is the captain. Condition yellow alert.
Deflector shields up. We're going in.
Gravimetric space density. Reading significant change.
Emergency stations. All decks on fire alert.
She can't take it, Captain.
Charting scanners on, Captain. Beginning science survey.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its mission? To explore strange new worlds, to discover new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no
Split
man...
infinitive, Captain.
What?
A split infinitive. The proper grammatical expression is to go boldly where no man has gone before.
Yes, of course.
To go boldly, to go boldly.
Somehow, I think it loses a little in the translation.
Very few people have the ability to fire up our imaginations and make us think about the human condition. Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, was one of those people. He took us where no man has gone before and beyond. He created a starship, its crew, an entire universe, and brought them to life for millions of people. Without Gene, there would have been no Star Trek television series. or a Star Trek computer series. Gene Roddenberry, born 1921, died 1991. We honor your memory.
Captain's log, stardate 6257.6. We have entered the Antares Rift. Repairs are almost complete on the minor damage we suffered upon entry into the rift. In the rift, spatial disruptions make using warp engines extremely dangerous. We are continuing our survey using impulse engines.
My poor babies. Warp engines were meant to be used, Captain.
Deflectors at 93% power and increasing.
Communications are back online, Captain.
Captain, undoubtedly that phenomenon would explain many of the strange disappearances in this sector. Still, with our warp engines deactivated, our computers indicate we will be safe.
Communications are out again, Captain. Is anyone hurt?
If he was human, Mr. Spock's pride might be...
Helm is not responding, Captain. The controls are completely dead.
Status, Mr. Chekhov.
Captain, navigation is not responding. The circuits are as lifeless as a Stalinist.
Sensors failed to indicate anything unusual prior to the explosion. I would speculate that it was caused by an extremely unusual rift where radically different physical laws apply.
And since it was different space-time, our sensors weren't programmed to detect it.
And it could happen again at any time without warning.
Scotty, what's our status?
Very bad, Captain. Whatever hit the Enterprise hit us right in our own neighborhood. The hull is breached 6 meters from the bridge. Beyond that, the instruments are useless. I can't read or send anything through these controls. We'll need a starbase to make this bridge functional again.
Scotty, how about auxiliary control?
Captain, I cannot determine the status of anything beyond the place where the rupture occurred. The rest of the ship could be dead as far as we know.
We need to make communicating with the rest of the ship our first priority. Any ideas, Lieutenant?
Communications are completely useless now. We may be able to enter codes into the library computer and instruct others to send messages to us.
Captain, the library computer is online. Apparently, its circuits were shielded from the explosion. I have managed to program a message into the library computer. The first time a person accesses the computer, they will read our distress signal. Hopefully, they can code a reply into the computer, which we can access.
Mr. Spock, you're a genius.
I believe I may be able to adjust the sensors to detect these spatial rifts and pilot the Enterprise to avoid them. However, the sensors are too heavily damaged here. I will need to get to auxiliary control as soon as possible if I am to reroute the necessary systems.
Mr. Spock, the bulkheads were breached just outside of the bridge. No one's going to be able to leave the bridge for at least an hour unless they're transported out.
Spock, check out the transporter.
Captain, the transporters are operational. Surprisingly, the controls have escaped damage. However, the transporter will only be able to transport a single person. I request permission to be transported so I can begin the adjustments to sensors as soon as possible.
No, Spock, I'll go first.
That is not logical. You are too valuable to risk, and the situation calls for my intervention as soon as possible.
Spock's right, Captain.
Go ahead and adjust the settings, Spock.
Spock! Spock! My God.
Captain, what was that thing?
I don't know, Mr. Chekhov, but I intend to find out.
Captain, for our own sake as well as Spock's, we have to find a way to get out of here. This bridge is useless.
Agreed.
Captain, I recommend we keep monitoring the science station and see if anyone answers our messages.
I can take care of that, Captain. I'm patching your log into the computer. You should have voice messages.
Captain, we've managed to jury-rig an evacuation tube through the bridge turbo lift. We should be able to keep it stable long enough for you to be evacuated.
This is it. We know what we have to do.
There, that should hold the door open. Captain's log. After equipping ourselves with tricorders and phasers, we are now searching for a way to find Spock and return him to us. I've determined that the best place to start is auxiliary control.
Captain, it's a very good thing we took the warp engines offline.
That explosion was 42% stronger than the one that struck near the bridge. Our left warp nacelle is crippled, Captain.
I hope it's not a trend.
I got bad news for you. This rift is affecting the hull of the ship. Our hull integrity is dropping fast.
How bad is it, Scotty?
It's at 92% and dropping rapidly. According to our system specs, if it drops below 63%...
Divert as much power as you can to the sensors. Let's find out what's causing this.
There's no guarantee we'll find anything, Captain.
That's a risk I'm prepared to take. Keep me posted, Mr. Scott. Kirk out. I could use advice. Suggestions, anyone? Spock. Losing Spock is like losing my right arm.
I know, Captain. We miss him too. And don't worry, Captain. If we can't get Spock back, I wouldn't be surprised if he got himself out of this mess.
I'd like to think so, but I fear there are limits even to Spock's abilities.
Well, they say the price of freedom is eternal vigilance.
What does that mean, Sulu? That we should have been more vigilant? How could we, if the sensor said nothing?
Well, maybe if Starfleet sensor designers would be quicker to modify their sensors to react to new phenomena.
Let's get moving.
Kirk to sick bay. Bones, where are you?
Jim, what the devil are you doing to the ship?
I'm not the one doing it. Spock is gone, Bones. Someone took him from the ship. Some aliens that I've never seen before.
An alien kidnapped Spock? Why?
I don't know. He was transporting off the bridge, and then he vanished, and then this alien appeared.
I've got an emergency down here. They're backed up into the corridor. If you can find these aliens, get me a medical scan on them. I might be able to find some way to combat them. Make that a priority.
McCoy out. And to think, I gave up a thriving practice in Georgia for this.
You know, it just wouldn't be the Enterprise without a crisis.
Sometimes I wish space were a little more predictable than it is.
We're still 2 rooms away from our problem. Let's get closer and see what we can find out.
Captain, surely you must have a plan.
Of course I do. I just need to find out what it is, that's all.
Oh, that's very reassuring, Captain.
I wonder if anything will be working in auxiliary control.
Our highest priority is control of the sensors. We must find Spock.
I'll handle it, Captain. Remember, I was a physicist when I first joined the Enterprise.
Ah! Captain, look! Captain, what happened?
It appears our alien friend likes its privacy.
You know, I wouldn't want that alien upset with me.
In my opinion, Captain, it's the only way to save Spock and this ship.
Go ahead, Sulu.